Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you in another video. All right, so I'm at the hotel, and it wasn't that far away from studio. In fact, it's much closer than the Mikado. And the room is nice, clean, a very clean place, all the way in the boondocks of Sun Valley. But the room looks great. I like it. Looks like it's gonna be a comfortable spot for myself to be in tonight. And checkout tomorrow is at 10, not 11. So I'm gonna be getting up earlier to make sure that I'm out of there. And the $50 deposit will be given back to me in cash, as I handed it to them in cash, and it was no problem. They let me check in early without any questions or nothing, so I couldn't have been more pleased with how that went. Already secured the money necessary to pay for the room tomorrow. All we need to make sure is that they have a room for myself for the next 3 weeks, and God willing, if that goes as it should, there's nothing on my end that should be a snag in any way. And this looks like the type of place where it's probably easy if you have to stay for a second night to do so, sort of like NoHo. It reminds me a lot of NoHo. So, you know, no complaints, man. Sun Valley, now I used to work in Sun Valley, believe it or not, man. I worked here putting something together called Hover Disk. And the thing about Hover Disk was you had to use fiberglass, I think it's called fiberglass wiring to make the hover disc. You got to put it into like this real thin and I've said this before, so those who've been following me for a long time, you probably already know this, but you have to put it in like this very thin, like aluminum. It's the same aluminum that they use to make balloons, if you know the aluminum balloons that are shiny and all that. So that's what you're doing. And the problem with this fiberglass is that it sheds. It sheds off these tiny needle-like sickles that come off into your hands. So what they did was give us heavy-duty gloves, but the sickles were so sharp that it would still get through the gloves. So it got to a point where it was so painful to work, especially if you didn't have gloves. I did it the first day without gloves, and it was like I was basically dealing with porcupines. I was like, there's no way I can do this job without gloves. So I had to buy myself some, what have you. But I had to get up really early to get here, man. I was living in Hollywood at the time, but the days that I worked, I'd spend the night in North Hollywood with my boy Q, who worked there with me. And I swear we got up at like 4:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning to get here by 6 to work. But the job paid very well for what we were used to. We were like 16-year-old kids, and they were paying like 12, maybe more, which was really good for the time, maybe 13 an hour or something like that. I'll never forget, I was high as a kite when I applied for that job. I had basketball shorts on. Like, we knew we were going for a job that, you know, was kind of under the table in regards to how they paid people and who they expected to work there. They were hiring anybody, and they were paying them really good to do this really uncomfortable stuff, man. So yeah, I did that for about 3 weeks. I didn't last very long in that job at all, but it was out here in Sun Valley, man. And the thing about it was summertime Sun Valley, so it was like 110 degrees, you know. But the good thing is I would only feel that heat when I got off work at like 3 o'clock, because of course getting there at 6 in the morning, it wasn't that hot. So, and then of course they had air conditioning in the factory and all that, so it wasn't terribly uncomfortable being there. But I tell you the truth, man, I will literally never forget that job. Never ever forget that job. It was very uncomfortable trying to make those hover discs. I ended up seeing some hover discs in stores, and I was like, man, if y'all knew what people had to do to make these things, I swear to you. You know, and basically what they were was just, I think they were like balloons, but the wiring would kind of make it so that it could be shaped like a saucer. So that's really what they were. Called them hover discs. I don't even know why I still remember that, what they were called, but that's exactly what they were called. And we pushed out a lot of them a day. And of course, in factories like that, they want you to, you know, meet a certain quota. So if you hit 100 of them made in a day, maybe they hike you up some money or something like that. I don't remember exactly how that worked, but yeah, that's how that went, man. It was somewhere out here in Sun Valley. Lord knows I don't know where. These days, I wouldn't know. If I was walking past that place right now, I wouldn't know it. But that's the reality of it, man. It was just a hell of a time in my life where I was just trying to make some money, man, and a young kid. And I don't know why I agreed to that job other than we were just high as hell, man. It was like smoking heavy weed, running around North Hollywood, my homeboy, Keontae, and a few of his buddies. And one of them said something about, hey, yo, I know of a job that pays something, something, something. I think it was the summertime, as I had already mentioned. So, like, we out of school. It's like, man, this will give us enough money to buy the new video game, something. You know what I mean? That kind of thing we were thinking. And so he's like, yeah, man, let's go apply. Like, they're open right now. It was like 9 o'clock at night. We had basketball shorts on. We had probably played basketball earlier that day or something like that. Didn't even go home, put on a suit or nothing to apply for the job. He was like, just go as it is, man. Trust me, you're going to get hired. They're hiring everybody for nothing. And that's exactly what they did. They hired all of us. Everybody in the car got hired. And, some guys stayed for like a little longer than I did, but the majority of the people in the car with me, we didn't last in that job for the past 3 weeks, man. As soon as we started realizing what we had to do, what the physical toll was in making hover discs with that fiberglass, we were like, nah, man, I'm not doing that anymore. They ain't paying enough for us to be doing all this, be pricking our hands 40 times a day. I mean, it was really painful, man. That was unbelievably painful work. So when I talk about like the worst job I ever had, I probably have that being the worst job, really. Just because of the physical nature and the pain that went through just trying to do it. But I mean, it was not like a bad place to be. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people there, all different ages. I remember there were a lot of pretty girls that worked there too. So it was like, we weren't unhappy there. It was just hard work. And I wasn't particularly good at it at all. I would mess up hover disc so many times. I would try to put the fiberglass in and it would make a hole in it instead of sliding through the surrounding areas that it was supposed to slide into. So it was not really something I was excelling in to begin with. But it was what it was, man. I didn't complain too much. I just knew that when after the third week of that, I was tired of the rotation of it all. Plus, I'd have to spend the night at my friend's house and all that. So it was just an inconvenience to do a job that we really didn't like. You know what I mean? That's what it really came down to. Speaking of which, it's my homeboy's Keontae's son's birthday, Isaac. Happy birthday, Isaac. I've never met Isaac. They moved out of state before Isaac was born, but that's still my brother, Q. I've known Keontae since we were 6 years old. So, that's one of my very close buddies. I haven't talked to him. We don't talk right now in this era of our lives, but never had a falling out. Nothing happened. We just went in different directions. He got married, and I was the best man in his wedding. Very honored to do that. They were very kind to me during that era of my life when I was going through some real changes and stuff like that. Once he decided to move out of state, it was like we kind of just moved in different directions. But that's still my brother, man. Still, his birthday, hit him up every year. He knows my birthday, hit me up every year, that kind of thing. So on a day like today, I'm in Sun Valley. I can't help but think of his son's birthday. So that's what's up, man. But yeah, today's been good. I ain't got no complaints, man. I woke up this morning, did my hundreds, which is 4 days straight of hundreds, squat regiment, which is something that I didn't do all 3 weeks of that contract. I had done it, but not in a consistent way to where I could say I did 4 days in a row. Just kind of weaned off with some of the stomach issues I was having and stuff like that. I was in a whole lot of pain, so far be it from me to feel that good about my consistency. But these last 4 days I've duked it out. I did it this morning. Of course, I made the Laker video for you guys if you were curious about that and my reaction to the team. I'm pretty sure I'll make another video for the team probably on the way back of this walk. I don't even know how long I'm gonna walk. I hope I don't get lost. But I think I just wanted to explore the neighborhood just like I do anytime I go anywhere new. And so I felt very prayerful this morning. I felt that the Lord was essentially telling me I'd have everything I needed, and it's going about as smoothly as any other time I've ever had things go smoothly. So got into a good car with a solid gentleman. We were talking all the way here, and it was cool, man. No complaints. My uncle had to put the money in overnight, as I sent a text to him yesterday, and I guess he got it. So thank you to him as always for continuing to carry me through these circumstances financially and also welcoming me on a Bible study every Sunday means a lot to me as well. Gives me an opportunity to be closer to them, him and my grandfather, the closest I've been to them with them since I was a little kid, when my uncle actually lived in Carson, and we used to go over there. My mom used to love going to his house, eating gumbo and stuff like that. So I have great memories of my uncle. But in this era, it's been more me leaning on him and needing him, and he's been there every step of the way, making sure that I get the funds. I believe it's coming from my grandfather's account, but it's his responsibility to handle all the funds, and he's making sure I get what I need, man. So my appreciation and my devotion to my family in this stage of my life is much more heightened, in the sense that they really are carrying me through the difficulties of my circumstances. So I always want to pay them homage and respect. But it's been a good couple of days. Yesterday, of course, I wasn't feeling good. Even last night, as I was doing art, I didn't feel good. Just dealing with my stomach and all the stuff that's been going on with that has been bad. But this morning was good. Yesterday I bought myself some fish, my favorite fried fish. After I did my hundreds, it's funny because I ordered it and I was like, let me rush through my entire workout. It takes about an hour to do the workout. I did the workout in like 50 minutes. And by the time I finished everything I had to do, that's when the guy called and said the food was there. So my timing was impeccable in regards to that. But ate the fish. It was good. When he got here, it was cold, so I had to rewarm it in my cooker, and it kind of made it soggy because it's not an oven. It's a water cooker, basically, for rice. But it's put everything in there. It tastes good. Got some barbecue sauce with it as a better topping for myself, because of course tartar sauce has egg in it and I'm allergic. So the last couple of times tartar sauce has really torn my stomach up even further. But barbecue sauce went well, and so after that I made some art pieces. Some of the best pieces I made in pretty much all month were made last night, man. I made some really, really good pieces yesterday for my standards. So it's just is what it is, man. Trying to stay as consistent as possible. I feel 100% right now, physically. As you can see, I shaved my face this morning. I do honestly prefer the goatee and mustache and all of that, but it gets to a point where I feel for myself it's time to reset. Once the mustache gets too long, once the goatee starts to get matted, once this, whatever they call this, starts to get to a point where it's uncomfortable, I shave it all off and start it all over again. So that's where we're at. I don't actually intend to stay barefaced for any length of time, really. But my hair doesn't grow comfortably on my face. It don't. It gets to a point where it's really a burden. So yeah, after like 3 months, cut it all off, start all over again, man. And I like how it looks when it's low. So that really works for me. But yeah, man, you can see these Sun Valley streets long. It's desolate, ain't nothing out here, but it almost looks like a ghost town. But I figured if I walk straight and then just footwork exercise for myself, and that's really all it's about. Not to get lost cutting corners or nothing like that, just going straight. So man, I'm more than blessed, that the Lord has been taking care of me and carrying me through these circumstances. I'm not sure what's next in my life. Been in this situation for a year, but when I first got in this situation, I can assure you that wasn't nearly as strong as I am now. My faith is 100 times stronger. My consistency has continued in the things that I love to do. My discipline against temptation has grown significantly stronger. I haven't smoked any weed, despite being somebody who really genuinely loves smoking weed. That has continued in a way that I never even intended for it to, in regards to my sobriety, my consistency on this channel, and the conversations that we're willing to have. It's almost like I'm becoming a different person in this era of my life. A person that I like a little more than the person I was when I was living in Lenox, where I was kind of still a slave to my own devices and lacked faith and lacked a certain level of bravery, I guess is what the word would be. And this has really helped me, man. I don't know, like I said, I don't know where this is headed, but wherever it's headed, I feel like I'm coming out of it, at this point, a better person. And so that's what I'm very thankful for. And thinking about how this has been going, where we're at now, how comfortable I am in the neighborhood that I live in, and how lost I was when I got on that side of town. Didn't know what the hell was going on with myself and my living situation, and all of that stuff was upside down. Now, a year later, though the situation hasn't changed, I feel much more resilient, much more ready for really whatever God wants to do. And though I've been having some health issues, they haven't stopped me from being consistent in all the areas that I want to, and it hasn't been overly painful to where it's unbearable or debilitating. And so that's why I'm just very appreciative, you know. And my conversation is probably different because of it, you know. So yeah, man, just want people to understand that, like, though I have things in my life that I'm appreciative of, if you go back and look at some of those videos last year around this time, it didn't start off that way. I was having a very difficult time in my life, and in it being a difficult time in my life, I had to lean on my faith and lean on my family, and I wasn't really sure if either was going to really want to, you know, do what I needed done in order for me to be all right. And I knew that I didn't feel like I was strong enough to do what I needed to do for myself either. And you know, that's just what it was, for better or for worse. They've carried me through, and I try to be somebody that they'd be proud of on this side of town. Staying away from stuff that I know they'd want me to stay away from, and consistently being a part of stuff that I think they want me to be a part of. So that's really what it's about, just displaying myself as a decent human being while they're carrying me through all of these difficulties. You know, not smoking weed with their money, not getting involved in nonsense. Hey, buddy. Not doing bad things and all types of stuff that they wouldn't be pleased to get. You know, that's really what it's about. So that's what it is. It's honoring them by upholding self-respect, self-control, you know what I mean? And not getting people, you know, getting involved with different women and getting people pregnant while I'm going through this circumstance. You know, just acting like I'm 40 years old and that I'm aware of what my responsibilities are. So, you know, I was thinking about that last night. It's like, you know, there's some sacrifices being made. I don't know that if everything was under my control, I probably would have been as disciplined in certain areas at all. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't. I'd at least be smoking a lot of weed, you know what I mean? But I think that for what it is our conversations have been on this channel, for what it is my responsibilities are to the team, the Lakers, you know, that aspect of my channel, my memories is too important to me to just let it go by the wayside, you know. And that's exactly what happens when I smoke too much. I become a significantly dumber human being. And that's not even up for debate. Hey, friend. Hey. What's up? Hey, puppy. So, yeah, man, that's really what it is. Just trying to keep that up, you know, and it's getting easier. It's not getting more difficult to do those things. Find myself walking past dispensaries without any problems. Find myself, you know, being a part of Bible study every Sunday, which was something that it was a little bit of a strain for me when my mother was around, because I didn't really want to do it. I didn't feel comfortable. I had a lot of anxieties. I didn't know what people thought of me. I had other things I wanted to do that were not godly, you know what I mean? High half of the damn time, you know what I mean? So I didn't feel very comfortable on a random Sunday to kind of, you know, listen to people who were responsible in nature and who would, you know, more or less going to hold me accountable for being involved, you know, listening and responding, you know what I mean? Like, my confidence was not there in any way, shape, or form back then. But at this point in time, it's the opposite. Now I look very much forward to being a part of Bible study. It's actually carried me spiritually, and it's provided me different concepts that have helped me want to be more disciplined, want to honor God and family. And you know what I mean? It's like those words every Sunday have provided me a certain path that I didn't anticipate valuing. I didn't anticipate valuing some of the lessons that I've learned, and how I can, within that, you know, share that with some of you guys and carry it into concepts that I talk about on the channel. You know, it's been helpful. And then and seeing the blessings of timing. You know, one thing that I can say for certain that I've been paying attention to is karma. Karma. And the patterns of karma and things like that have been really showing up in my life over the last couple of days, by way of other people, watching other people do certain things and getting consequences, and even myself. And this morning, I was listening to a podcast and I said something bad, about somebody. And I was listening to an opinion and agreeing with it, saying, yeah, that's stupid somebody. I ended up dropping some of my oatmeal at the same time. And, it was a minor, very minor, type of karma, but it helped me understand, like, that's been the theme. The Lord wants me to understand, and you put out bad energy, and, I'm going to spank your hand type of thing. Or in watching certain things happening with others, in basketball. People have been doing things they had no business doing, and then bad stuff happened right after that. Ja Morant bumped LeBron James in the back for no damn reason. Ended up getting hurt right after that. Little stuff like that. It's just like the Lord wants me to identify that those are examples for me to understand that for the bad that I do, I will get back bad. For the good that I do, I'll be rewarded. And, to keep that concept in the forefront of my mind during this era of my life. I don't know how that plays into what's ahead. Hey, friend. Hello. I don't know how that plays into what's ahead, but just the same, I do wonder if something will make all that come together in a way. So that's really what it is also. I've just been paying attention to that. Cause and effect. We talk about karma, but sometimes God will zero in on certain concepts and have them reoccurring in certain moments in my life. I don't know if everybody goes through that, but if he wants me to really pay attention to something, he'll make it keep coming back around in a certain cluster of moments. So that's kind of what karma has been for me lately. Just watching and seeing it in so many different ways. But and timing too. Something strange that I didn't document happened 2 days ago. Nothing serious, but just like in the minor way of doing things, it helped me understand the alignment that I'm on right now. As I said, with the hand spanking thing, so to speak, when I dropped the oatmeal. This is something around the lines of that type of minor, but still, for me, it was an example of what God has got me doing. So 2 days ago, I threw away the inner lining, not inner lining, but what keeps the shoes that I have packed in with like paper. You buy shoes and they'll pack it in with paper so that the shoe will stay full when it's off of your feet. Well, I finally decided to throw away one pair of shoes paper. I had it in there since I purchased it, and it was one of those things where it's like I just didn't replace it. It started shedding all over the place, and I just didn't replace it. I didn't do nothing but just continue to stuff it in my shoe at the end of the day. So I finally said, you know what, as I go out of this particular room and into this cycle, I'm not going to carry this with me. This stuff is going thrown away. And I'll just fill it up with regular paper towel, do my own little version of that and call it a day. Because that's all it is paper towel that they wrap up a certain way so that they can fit it in the shoe. But I threw it away for two of my shoes. And I'm walking down the street and I'm talking about what's going on in Gaza on Sunset. And I look down and I see a pair of shoes randomly, and one of those paper things was hanging outside of the shoe. So I picked it up and put it in my pocket and kept walking. That may not mean anything to anybody else, but that was God showing me that he's aligned with what is going on in my life down to the very detail. To the point where the day that I threw away the lining of the shoe paper, or whatever you call that, is the day I find one on the street at random, the very thing that I needed. To the point where I was going to go to a shoe store and ask them to just let me have a few so I can put them in my shoes. But it was like, nah, not need. Here's one right here. Now, granted, there's still one more that needed to be for the other shoe. And I didn't check the inside of the other shoe to see if it was in there. I just saw it on the floor, picked it up, and kept walking. Because I was doing a video at the time. It wasn't that serious. I left the shoes there because I didn't need the shoes. Probably wasn't my size, wasn't my look. So I didn't care nothing about that. But just the same, it was the understanding that, this is something that God wanted me to understand. He wanted me to be oh so aware of the fact that I turn back around and go back. And I'm looking at a 44 right aligns with that as well, since I am BDF 44. Little stuff like that. But he's wanting me to understand that he's with me in alignment with this era of my life. And as I was doing some praying a few days ago, I was asking the Lord what my responsibilities are. Obviously, in the perfect world, I need to be going back to work. I need to be swallowing my pride and finally doing that. And I was asking God, if that's what you want me to do, just put it in the cards for me, and I will make it happen, just like I did all the other times that I did. But the energy that came to me was, really your only responsibility is to believe. That's it. I'm not asking you to really do anything right now, but just stay focused on what you've been doing, stay consistent with what you've been doing, and keep checking in with me. That's really all it is. And everything else will fall into places as much as everything else has aligned throughout the course of this process. And that's what I've been kind of vibing with. Like, God, do you want me to do something? Is there somebody I need to talk to? Is there something I need to go somewhere? Something? No. In this era of my life, essentially the energy that I've been receiving is, whatever it is, you're going to fall into it organically or it's coming to you. But for now, just stay close and keep believing in me. The same way you have throughout the course of this year, as we go forward into whatever's next, just keep that same energy, more or less. And so that's really what it is, because at this point in my life, I'm not necessarily waiting on SSI. I didn't reapply, so that's not in the wind, more or less. They denied me, but I never actually got the paperwork on it. So the way my brain is set up, I just haven't really been thinking about it. Just kind of in this cycle. And that's not fair to my uncle and my grandfather who are paying for this. So it's like, God, what do I need to do to get my head right? What do I need to do? I'm not smoking weed. I'm not, There's a lot of things that I'm staying away from that would otherwise keep me clouded. Ain't none of that happening right now. What do you want me to do? Nothing. Just keep believing. Keep believing the same way you've been believing is what came my way. So that's really what it is, man. At this point, my consistency is what I'm really proud of. Consistency in this channel, consistency in my workouts, consistency in the art, in the playlist work, for which I did another playlist last night, believe it or not. I didn't have any intention of doing that at 11:30 at night. But somebody outside my window started playing some Sade music. And the bass sounded so good. I'm like, man, it ain't gonna be nothing for me to make a Sade playlist, because I know all of her music. It ain't a whole lot of it. So it's not gonna be hard to pick songs that I like from Sade, slap them together before I go to sleep. And that's what I did. I made a all Sade playlist last night. And it came out pretty good. It came out really good. So that's like something I really look at and say I've been doing well in regards to staying consistent with the things that I've been doing. That was the LCD 404. I just crossed the 400 mark with the K-list. That's 804 playlists done since 2017. So it's like, you consider how many art pieces I have. What is it? Almost 9,000 art pieces. And what else? The 804 playlists. It's crazy to even say that. And all the workouts that I've been doing, all the channel work that I've been doing, you're going to see thousands of videos here that I've done over the last, however long it's been, probably like 7 years of being on this channel or something like that, 6 years. A lot of work's piling up, you know what I mean? A lot of consistency that I've been trying to establish with all of the things that I love to do. And though they're not going anywhere, it's not leading to anything that I can see. And essentially what the Lord is saying is, you are doing exactly what I want you to do. That's what the vibes are anyway. You are working. You are where I want you to be. What you're going through is what you're supposed to be going through. All of that, And so that's kind of what I'm taking from my situation. I feel a little disappointed in myself for not calling my therapist and getting that scheduled with her. That's something I need to do that I've been putting off. And of course, the doctor's appointment needs to be done as well. A lot of stuff that I know is my responsibility I've just been lollygagging on. And I don't know why, that's another thing. I was asking the Lord, why is it that I'm so hesitant to do things that I know I need to do? Why am I still like that? And so that's where I'm asking the Lord to kind of help me grow up from here. It's like, certain things, there ain't no excuses. I just ain't handled it. But at the same time, it's like with the things that I am doing, It's one of the reasons why I'm not focused on other things, because I'm doing so many. So, you know, that's really what it is, man. That's kind of the update. It's very peaceful out here. I ain't really seen nowhere to eat, but I don't necessarily need anywhere to eat, to be honest with you. I got food. So, you know, one thing I can appreciate as well is it's pomegranate season, man. I've been eating pomegranates like crazy, and it has been helping replenish my body from the sickness and the stomach issues that I've been having. It's almost like that came right at the right time. So I can legitimately say I wish that was a year-round fruit, but it is not, unfortunately. But I've been eating one of those almost every day. Not cheap, but definitely healthy, man. Definitely very healthy. So, you know, just little stuff like that. It's been good, man. It's been good to be myself lately, and I hope people are getting from me what I ultimately am leaving here. That's really what it's about. I'm not doing all of this just because I like to do it. I'm doing all this so I can have so much left behind and credit to my name in this life. You know, like this dude did a lot of stuff while he was alive. This dude, he was an artist, but he didn't spend 3 and 4 months on one piece. In 4 months, he could do 150 pieces. Like, that's the kind of person I'm trying to be. For better or worse, man. And as I continue to do more and more and more, the better I'd imagine I'm getting. And I hope that holds some weight in some way. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are looking to continue, but they're aiming for some type of success, or they're aiming for some type of monetary value. And as you guys know, I'm not aiming for that. I'm aiming to get better, whether anybody's paying attention or not. So that's kind of what it is for me. But I think that's happening. I think that is taking place. And the comfort that I feel in all of the things that I do versus how I felt when I started makes it all worth it. And you can see the change in oneself. So that's what I want to tell people. Just maybe you have bigger dreams about making success happen for yourself than maybe I'm having for myself at this moment. But the consistency that I'm engaging in, it holds some value, whether people are knowing what you're doing or not. That you continue to do it and do it and do it and do it and get as good as you can. And then see yourself in that space that you've gotten better in, and see what comes of you there. It's worth it when you start any process. And with the intention of being consistent about it. So that's what I want to tell people, man. Consistency, resilience, being steadfast on your convictions, regardless of what people are talking about, regardless of whether or not people are paying attention. Those convictions are important. Hey, buddy. What's up, fellas? Hey. Hey. Well, there's a lot of doggies over here. What's up, fellas? So, yeah, they got like 6 dogs over here, man. Little ones. 2 big ones there. 6. I got a whole neighborhood of dogs next to me right now. But the good thing about me in regards to animals is that they tend to take well to my spirit. 9 out of 10 puppies like me, even if it takes a little while for them to get around to it. You know. So anyway, man, I've only been attacked by an animal one time, I think. And that was my dad's cat. Scratched me while I was asleep. It just came by and scratched me for absolutely no reason. And yeah, that was tough. I think my dad eventually actually let that cat out the house permanently. I think that's how that actually went. He said, I don't remember exactly how the story went, but he let the cat out. It's go away type stuff. Like, don't be here no more. I think that cat attacked my little sister, and he was like, man, I think that was the end of that. I think that's how that went. It was not a very nice cat. I don't know where they got it from, but I don't think he was domesticated, so. Other than that, I ain't never had really no issues with animals, man. I told y'all that one story that happened right before I left Lenox, where there was a dog barking viciously and growling in front of his family. His family, I guess all the kids and everybody was outside, gathered around, and he was outside doing what dogs do, guarding the fence. But the way it was set up was the fence was low. And he could reach out and bite you if he wanted to. And for whatever reason, and whatever the mode I was in, I did not cross the street away from that dog. And the crazy thing about it was, he was growling at me, but it was almost like I understood, as long as I don't motion toward his family over there, he was going to let me pass. But he definitely wanted to instill a certain fear in me. And as long as I didn't splay any back, he wasn't going to bite me. And that's exactly how it went. But that was not something I would recommend. Walking past that dog. not in the way that was. That was me playing with my life, honestly. Because he had it ranged to attack my throat, to bite my face and all different types of stuff. But I had just gotten eviction papers. And I was feeling rather lost. And I just didn't really care at the time. I really didn't care. But that ain't how I feel right now. That's not how I feel right now. But yeah, man, that's one of the situations where I look back and I see myself as not necessarily fearless, but careless is what I would call that. That's not fearless. You walk past a dog that wants to bite you and you don't flinch, and you have every reason to run at that point because that dog was vicious, and I didn't move because I didn't care. Like that was a certain level of indifference to my own existence that I don't ever want to return to. And with the faith that I've been able to apply and see results, I don't see any reason for me to ever get back to that space anymore. But yeah, man, I always think about that situation. That was rather stupid of me, to be honest with you. But yeah, man, I really want to just say thank God for everything. I don't often say that on this channel unless I'm in my prayer mode, where usually if I'm fearful, I turn into a preacher. But I'm not fearful of anything right now. I feel very good. The weather is nice where I'm walking right now, even though it's literally Sun Valley, so it's usually 100 degrees hotter over here than it is anywhere else. Today it's like 75, it feels perfect. And so that's pretty much what I want to say, man. I don't really want to babble about myself anymore. But I do encourage people to pay attention to what's going on in Gaza. And I do want to say that. This morning I saw footage of new people, new children who had been crushed underneath rubble. All you saw was feet. But you saw like 7 or 8 people underneath rubble. Children. Like, I want people to really understand what I'm saying. They bombed someplace where there was nothing but children in there. And as the camera panned by, all you saw was their dead bodies, as their feet. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Like, that's not me making that up. That's something I saw about a couple hours ago. So, you know, this thing is real, man. It's real. The same people who are telling you that, you know, they got your back in regards to your government, they are paying for this to happen, man. They really are paying for that. And they're using your tax dollars to foot the bill. And we may think that that's a joke, or we may not see that as a problem. But mind you, they're doing this to people, which means people are going to be devoted to getting revenge for that, and that's their right. And who do they have to blame for that? You know what I mean? While we're sitting here acting like it's cool that whatever happened to them, you got to know that these are real individuals who are going through things that you would want to give your life to get back for in a lot of cases. You know what I mean? And that we don't care about that in this country does not make us exempt for that wrath. It doesn't make it so that our grandkids would be exempt from that wrath. And that's what these politicians genuinely are not painting the picture about, as they continue to tell you that they support Israel and listen to Israel talk about whatever they're talking about in regards to why you should be okay with this happening. You know, they go around saying that those of us who are not cool with this are absolutely out of touch. I saw something yesterday underneath a post that I was paying attention to. Some Israel supporter essentially said, well, on the wrong side of history, and it's a damn shame that we're so brainwashed. And, you know, like the rhetoric that they're applying to the people who are appalled with what they're saying is the rhetoric that should be applied to the things that they're doing and how they should be reacted to. And what came to mind as I was thinking about that was the devil is a liar, man. He's a liar. He's going to lie. He's going to apply all of the reactions to those who are appalled with his energy All the reactions that he would otherwise deserve are going to be exactly what he says to the people who are appalled with him. He wants you to feel crazy in the presence of his madness. And he wants it to seem as he wants you to question whether or not his madness is what's just, no matter how ridiculous that madness is. And that's essentially what Israel's doing. No matter how immoral their behavior, they're going to continue to lie. Just like the devil will continue to lie. I mean, like literally, they mimic the energy of the enemy in all ways. And if you pay close enough attention to them, that's exactly what you're going to see. It's them living in a space where it's okay to kill people, and them absolutely appalled with people who are appalled with that. Like, it's like just unfathomable that you would not be in support of their absolute and utter psychotic intentions. And if you listen to them long enough, you will begin to question whether or not you're crazy for not aligning with their crazy. And that's really what it comes down to. Hey, buddy. What's up? What's up? What's up? Hello. Hey, friend. What's up? How'd you get over there so fast? You a fast dog. What's up? What's up? Chill out, buddy. How did you get over here so fast? You got a lot of speed to you, man. Anyway, so yeah, that was what I wanted to express to people. Like, don't be dismayed or frustrated with the devil lying to you about what you should be appalled about in regards to what he's doing. Because he will do the most egregious thing. And in the presence of trying to make the world what he wants it to be, he will make you, if you listen to him, feel like you're the most crazy person in the world for not going along with it. Like you were raised wrong for not aligning with his psychotic energy. That you are just too stupid to see the most basic of reasonings behind why it's fine for him to do what he does. And that everybody agrees with him and you're alone in your condemnation of his behavior. That is exactly what Israel is doing. And that is exactly what the people who Israel pay in this country are doing. And it is exactly what supporters of Israel are doing all over the world. And it is exactly what people who align with their nonsense are going to mimic. It's just an overall collective condemnation of the innocent lives of Palestinian people, Lebanese people, Syrian people, and anybody in that area. And that it should be within their right to take their lives, take their land, put them through immeasurable amounts of pain and suffering, make fun of that, and then from there continue the behavior as if it should be understood beyond shadow of a doubt that this is absolutely and utterly the most moral way for them to go, and that we should be in support of them as they continue to do it. That is what I want everybody who follows me to expect when listening to Israel. They're going to do everything they can to make those who are appalled with their behavior look absolutely and utterly without credibility. You understand what I'm saying? And if you listen to them and only them, they will eventually convince you that up is down and down is up, that babies are to be killed if they're Palestinian, and that it should be perfectly fine that you align with that, pay into that, support that, dance and laugh and joke about that like they're able to, and even more so, condemn those who would otherwise condemn it just like they're doing. It's what to expect from them at this point. That's why you need to keep your spiritual compass at all times, so to speak. Because if you get enough of them people around you, and you're not strong enough spiritually, they will have you wondering if something's wrong with you for not seeing things their way. They will definitely be able to do that. BDF 44, I thank you all for watching.